some things that we talk about with the five fights and just some drills. Okay, so just like I'm first going to talk about drills where we try to track the ball carrier. My guys work in more confined spaces. They're outside linebackers. They drop to flats. They drop to curls. They're not playing halves. They're not doing stuff. So this is just a simple drill where I'm working the closed space, long stride, short stride. This is a pre-practice drill to get them warmed up. So working long stride, short stride. So you can see his stride starts to shorten up. And the biggest thing is what I'm trying to do is put him in a position that left foot is making contact when that left shoulder would be touching this guy. So left foot, left shoulder contact. So timing my steps up, long stride to short stride, to put myself in a position where that left foot is touching the ground, more to contact. Okay, now a lot of times what we do in terms of the drills, like we have two types of drill, like two types of tempos that we do in drills. Sometimes we thud. We'll thud any type of ball that's in the core. So, we're talking right shoulder contact. We're really trying to thud up ball carriers, right? The other thing that we'll do is we just have tag off tempo. So I think the tag off tempo has advantages because in tag off tempo, you're still getting good body positions on the tag off tempo, but you're allowing the ball to run to the secondary so they can work on their angles and tracking the ball and being in a good position. Some of the fear I have, and again, like I was a defensive coordinator, head coach, I've been in a lot of different chairs. If everything on like just, run game inside is all thud, your secondary gets a false sense of security that if a run were happen to pop, they don't get the work in terms of the closing the space and being able to take things on. Okay. So our team periods, like we will have certain team periods where Coach Fickle will say, well, this is a thud period, and we're trying to thud up inside runs. And obviously that's working a lot on that same foot, same shoulder, and we're trying to thud the run and stop the ball carrier and try to get a lot of hats to the ball carrier. Okay, populate the football, swarm the football. There's other things though that if it's an inside zone or something that we're going to try to tag the hip and let it run and have the scout team running back run out so that our secondary, our second level, we're playing cover three, you're playing man three, you're playing halves, the two safeties got to converge. They're working together like two-man vices. So when we're in a tag tempo, we still want to get that foot in the ground, but instead of making that left shoulder contact, what we try to do is have both of our guys tag the hip. We believe that if we can tag the hip with our palms down, okay, our palms down with those fingers extended, that we're putting ourselves in a good body position that if we had to put our left shoulder on that, we put our left shoulder. But we've done all the, we're obviously the tackling stuff that occurs, the rugby tackling, the head behind stuff. That's what we promote here. We don't get our head across, except for one specific case I talked about in the last Glazier Zoom. So we're obviously a low shoulder, same foot, same shoulder, head behind tackling operation. This is just drills that we're doing to put ourselves in that position. Okay, so we're closing space, long stride, short stride, trying to get the bit of body position. But again, when I try to slow this down, I'm just trying to have that same foot in the ground. Okay, so I don't cross over. That when I tag this thing, I want to see that left foot in the ground when I tag that guy's shoulder. These are just simple drills. Off season, we're tracking the hip, putting that left foot. This is a good job by Jeff. Left foot power angles, tagging that hip. We feel like in a game, we're going to be in a position to put that left shoulder right on there. So just working some drills where we're just shuffling across. I like it when the ball carriers go backwards and we come downhill. I think it allows us to put in a much better position. We're able to keep that ball on our left shoulder. So I'm telling this guy right now, your helmet stripe and your toes are firmly on that guy's left hip. Okay, on that left hip. And you don't want to make sure that helmet stripe and those toes get across that hip because then you're prone to the cutback there, okay, which is going to be missed tackle, lost leverage. But at the same time, if your toes and your toes and your nose, and that helmet stripe is too far behind that hip, you're not going to be able to put yourself in a position where at the moment of truth, you can put same foot, same shoulder and put a hat on it because you're going to be out of phase. Okay, so there's a balance in all these drills as we're tracking it, long stride to short stride. Long stride, Jeff does a good job. Long stride, short stride. You can see him start to lower his level. His feet start to widen. We don't want to hop into it, Jeff. We want to, again, 1, 2, 3. Short stride, 1, 2, 3. Same foot, same shoulder. Put ourselves in a position to be able to do that drill. Yeah, so again, closing space. Let's go. We got to close space. Arm violence, close space. He's gaining yardage, close space. And then long stride, short stride. This is the tracking piece, leverage, the tracking piece. All right, so here's our safeties. Long stride, short stride, coming to balance on a ball carrier. This is a drill that we like. They start out 10 yards away. Again, you got to understand you're playing safety. You're going to not have necessarily sometimes the angles. So we're just basically working long stride, short stride, 10 yards away. And then sometimes we tell this ball carrier not to move. That keeps this guy honest about closing space and short striding it late. Or we'll tell this guy to accelerate towards the sideline And you can see he's a little unsure as the guy taking off. So this is about, again, trying to develop confidence. Long stride, just simple drills we do in the offseason. Long stride, short stride, and being able to adjust and put that same foot, that right foot, right shoulder in the ground. So this is just a simple drill. Again, the safeties are doing. We do this with a lot of our players pre-practice. This is an easy one. Obviously, with the outside backers D-line, we'll do it from 5 yards away. But again, just working different angles and entries of ball leverage, working with guys on hip leverage. Really simple stuff, but just fundamentals and techniques, okay? This is one our inside linebackers do. This is a drill that Coach Tressel does. So, again, you got a hook drop, okay? A hook drop, any type of zone drop, where basically they're going to drop into their drop. Then what Coach Tressel does is either we'll throw the swing pass out to this guy. You got a close space on that guy. It's a left shoulder tackle, or he'll run the quarterback draw. And when he runs quarterback draw, you close space, it's a right shoulder tackle. So this is a good drill. And we use this with some of our flat players too. So you can see here, just getting linebacker drops. And again, like our vision is here on the quarterback. He spits it out here. We're close to space. That would end up being a left shoulder tackle. If the guy takes off and runs, we're going to close space right shoulder tackle. I do this with the outside linebackers for our flat drops. Again, you guys have probably seen variations of this drill. Closing space with leverage. Just trying to make sure our nose and toes are on the proper hip. Constantly potentially have to adjust your angle. It's not ever a straight line. You have to adjust your angles to be in a position where your left shoulder tackle, you're not, your nose and toes, when we watch this from behind, are not in front of the ball carrier, but they can't be too far behind the ball carrier either. So these are all a series of drills we do at different positions that are about tracking. Here's one I do like, again, as a warm-up drill with my guys. Again, shorter spaces for outside backers, inside backers, D-line. 2 guys coming off the cone. So again, we come around this. The ball carrier, in this case, is 32. As he comes around the cone, okay, he can choose whether to go here or here. So it's the ball carrier's choice. 47 goes around that cone. He's got to locate the hip, come around, tight to the fight, track it, and just put himself in a position where he closes space. He's got to put right foot, right shoulder. This is a bad body position. Okay. His hips are not underneath his shoulder pads. He has no power. He is bending at the waist. Okay. He has no lines of force, which I'll talk about in the connection phase and how we drill that. So this is just, again, simple drills. This is better. His pads are underneath his hips. Same foot, same shoulder. Really working here, guys. That right foot is in the ground, that right shoulder contact. So this is about tracking in smaller spaces and trying to work that right shoulder contact. That's what I'm working in this drill. So again, coming down here, just coming down. You don't want your ball carriers to be super wide. Again, I told you, if I was taking a look at the type of tackles that my guys make, those aren't good lines. My guys' line of entry are for 45 to 90 degrees. That's the type of tackling I want to replicate, 45 to 90, okay? So these are bags then that all of us use for that connection point, okay, when it's time for that same foot, same shoulder contact. Okay, this is called the dip and rise bag. I think everybody, is starting to sell these things. But we're trying to work right here is now, okay, you've closed space, you're short stride. It's now time for connection. Okay, same foot, same shoulder. It's that connect piece. Okay, so you've done step 1 and 2. This is working 3 and 4. The connection and the drive for 5. The connection and not having dead feet. So individual down here, okay, Tyler down here, we're looking for in this bag, it's same foot, same shoulder, okay, so that right foot's in the ground when that right shoulder makes contact. Want to make contact more on like the top edge of the shoulder with our hips underneath us, okay, he's starting to bend at the waist a little bit more. And now it's about what happens when he's got the right foot, right shoulder in the ground. What does this left foot look like? Okay, you see too many guys when you do these drills, younger players, that left foot will go dead. Or you'll see a toe drag swag where you'll see them click up on turf fields. You'll see black turf kick up because they drag the left foot. I see that a lot, that left foot drag. There's no power at that second step. So we got right shoulder contact. There's our contact. We've accomplished steps 1 and 2. Now it's about 3 and 4. We're at same foot, same shoulder contact. We drive for 5 steps. Drive for 5 steps. Drive for 5 steps. Try to keep those elbows in, thumbs up, trying to grab cloth. Forklift those arms. Okay, so the guy at the bottom, got to make sure that you're not going to have force if the right shoulder makes contact before the right cleat is in the ground. Okay, and you'll see that sometimes. You got right shoulder contact. You can see on this one too, we are very bent at the waist. We have an L. Our pads are not stacked underneath our hips. And we're doing a really poor job of that.